talking about time today, and I would love to hear from you. So feel free again to use the chat if you like. What are struggles that you have right now with your current time management in a week? What are things that, and I think I know the answers to some of this already. I just want to hear from you because I really believe my industry and your industry can be a lot alike with this. Um, and there's probably not a whole lot of differences except maybe the type of industries that may be coming up as distractions. Corey said sticking to the calendar, meaning doing what the calendar says you're supposed to be doing at that point in time. Ah, very, very true. Mitch says prioritization, working on the business and working in the business. Um, yeah, I think sometimes we need to clarify what does that exactly mean. Like working on our business is kind of necessary. We're all technically business owners, so it's super important to work on our business versus working in the business. And we obviously have to work in the business if we want to get a paycheck, right? Because we have to, there's certain things we have to do. Doing numbers is not really the funnest part of my day or job, but it's kind of necessary for me to work on numbers through the course of a day if I want to get paid. I'm going to share with you some tactics that I've seen other top producing realtors use over my course of being coached for many, many, many years. I've sat in realtor classes of other top producing realtors sharing how they manage their calendar and some strategies and tactics they use. I've adopted a lot of that into my own life. All that being said, I can't be on this call with other team members present and tell you that I am obedient to my calendar all the time because they know the truth, right? But I do have a template to use that I try to adhere to the majority of the time. And I think it's important to have a template and to have some boundaries. And we're going to talk about that word a little bit deeper in a second. I think boundaries are very, very important. So, number one thing I want to mention to you, busy is not the same as productive. And I think we get those confused a lot of times in the sales industry. Busy is not the same as productive. There are days that I feel like at the end of the day, I've been really, really busy. But if I really go back and look at my activity, I may have been doing stuff, but I was not doing the right stuff. It's just like, you I know I need to eat healthy. Well, we all need to eat to survive. Is that a fact? We all need to eat to survive. And at different times today, I will eat and put something in my mouth. Now, the goal is to be healthy, but tomorrow I can look back and take a little tracking system I've got and look at what I actually did put in my mouth today, and it will tell me the truth. Either I did the things that align with where I said I wanted to be, or I let stress intervene and put a Hershey almond bar in my mouth, or a Five Guys burger, or a milkshake, or my favorite, Chip Ahoy cookies with milk. Like I'm just saying, I'm not really a exotic eater. Chip Ahoy cookies in a bowl, like 20 of them in a bowl with milk, is amazing. But that's not great. And it's the same thing with our time. We can spend a lot of time being busy all day long and actually in front of a computer, but doing things that are productive. That's the difference. And we need to make sure that we're tracking things that are moving us forward. So we're going to talk about busy versus productive. One of the things that I struggled with a long time until I found coaching was knowing exactly what to do every single day. Like that is so important because I think a lot of times y'all have mentioned fires and crisis coming up. A lot of times, unless we have structure, we're pretty much like a volunteer firefighter, just waiting for the phone to ring to get to the next fire and to the next crisis. Like we have to have a structure. I believe we have to have a theme and then make it a repeatable schedule over and over and over. And sometimes you will Sometimes you need to make adjustments. There was last week, I completely, one night last week, just deconstructed my entire calendar. I just removed everything off of it and started from scratch one more time because I felt like I was living a little bit in a world of chaos. So sometimes that needs to happen. All right, so here's a truth bomb I do want to share with you. And if you have something you can take notes on, I think this is a really, really, really good quote, if I must say so myself. Top agents don't work more hours. As a matter of fact, the highest producing real estate agents I know probably work less hours than most. Okay. So top agents don't work more hours. They do the right activities earlier in the day. They get the stuff that has to be done knocked out earlier in the day. And here's another little truth bomb. What doesn't get scheduled gets sacrificed. What doesn't get scheduled gets sacrificed. All right. So I want to give you, when I mentioned busy versus productive, I want to give you some activities that feel productive, but they probably don't add to your paycheck. Here are some activities that may feel productive and don't add to your paycheck. And you don't need to tell me if you're guilty of these or not. Just think through them. Number one, social media scrolling. Okay. There are some, I'm not going to call out names. Number one, I think social media is important. So I'm not saying I'm banning social media. However, it's easy to get caught up in social media where before you know it, hours and hours have gone by. So many agents. I'm not saying any of the stuff is bad, but I see a lot of realtors will post things about homes being closed. Well, that's great, but now you're pretty much just selling people that home is off the market and you don't need to be called on that home anymore. Like are are we having? But also posting closing pictures also tells the public that you're successful and you're closing deals. That's also good, right? You just have to make sure that everything you're spending on social media, your time on it, what you're posting, is moving you forward. I Once I get onto Facebook, it is like a rabbit hole for me. And also ESPN.com because I'm a sports junkie. So I have to stay off of both. Neither one. As much as I love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Lightning and the Rays and all Tampa Bay sports, they don't pay my bills. And they could care less whether I make money or I don't make money. They don't care. And to be honest with you, probably 90% of my friends on Facebook probably could care less too how I'm spending my time. So I can't get involved in a ton of social media. So that's a busy activity that we can spend a lot of time that's not going to pay our bills. Secondly, perfecting your post. Like it is good. People need to pay attention to what they're posting, but I have witnessed people spending in my industry. Like I coach a lot of LOs, and I coach them. You need to do videos. If you watch my videos, you probably already know what I'm about to tell you. Once it's taken, I don't redo it. So you're going to see flaws, you're going to see grammatical errors, you're going to see things through times that I may have a brain fart when I'm doing a video, but it's me, it's real, it's personal, and it's done in about 2 minutes. When I shoot a video, it does not take me 2 hours to do. And I think we can get wrapped up in trying to perfect everything that we do on things that are kind of necessary, but it's not necessary to spend 2 hours doing, you know, trying to perfect a video that's only about 60 seconds long. And you know what? I think people will resonate with you the more real they see you in your flaws, in the times that you may say something that you get your words twisted or tangled up, or you say something that's stupid. And I have said in a video before, wow, that was dumb what I just said. Let me rephrase that. Like, it's okay to just be real and be who you are. Okay. So don't spend a lot of time perfecting things. Here's another busy activity: rearranging your CRM. Like, having a CRM is super important, but it's like I remember in college, I felt like I needed to organize my room all the time before I started working on homework. No, I really just need to pull out my books and start working on homework. My room didn't need to be organized, right? Like, sometimes we need to work on our CRM, and that's working on your business, as Mitch phrased that earlier, but we don't always need to be working on it. Sometimes we just need to call the people in our CRM and stop trying to rearrange everything, right? Sometimes we need to execute. Here's another busy activity: researching. Like, I think we spend a lot of time researching whatever, and it doesn't pay our bills. Here's the biggest waste of time as a salesperson: waiting for leads to come in. Like, we don't need to be waiting for leads to come in. We need to be doing things and activities that's going to generate leads coming in. So here's money making activities that actually pay and probably should be somewhere on your calendar. Number one, making sure you're having conversations with real human beings. And conversations are just that: conversations, not texts, not emails, actual conversations. Following up with people that you need to talk to. That could be leads, old leads from last year, following up with past clients. Money making activities are having appointments with people that can continue to feed you business, like golden geese. Okay. Realtors to lenders are golden geese. There are golden geese for realtors too. Estate attorneys are one. Financial planners can be one. CPAs can be one. So find your list of people that can refer easily to you and make sure that you're spending time having face to face time with them. Negotiating is a money making activity. Writing contracts are money making activities. All right. So you need to make sure that whatever you're spending your time doing, the majority of your time is falling into the money making activities and not just doing busy stuff, right? So the key, I believe, to creating a life that's somewhat balanced, I'm not going to say we can always balance it, but I think we can have a little bit of balance with it, is using your calendar and creating blocks of time to get things done. So there's a word. Sometimes I like this word and other times I don't. Boundaries. I don't know what your perception of that word is, but boundaries, I feel like we need to create boundaries with our time and almost treat it like a gated community. Before you come into my community of time, I need to check your password and make sure I want you in my life and taking my time. We need to set some boundaries with our time. So we do this and can do this through creating blocks of time, of lead generation time. So we're all salespeople. Whether you're selling real estate or you're selling mortgages, we're in the business of selling. That's what we do. So wouldn't you think it would be important that us as salespeople spend time trying to work on lead generation every single day that we're working? I didn't say every day of the week. I don't think we should be working every day of the week. That's another conversation that we may have in the future. But I don't think God created us and designed us to work 7 days a week, which some of you may be doing. Don't do that. We all need to recharge and get refreshed, and that's very important. But the other days that we're working, we need to make sure that we're blocking some time for lead generation. So, when do you block it? You have to do lead gen in the morning before lunchtime, period. You have to. Otherwise, your day goes to heck. The other reason you want to do it in the morning is most of us are thinking better in the morning. We have clearer minds. We have more energy because we just had sleep. So it's super important to make sure we're doing lead gen in the morning. So who are we doing lead gen with? That's our database. That's who we're texting, making phone calls to. It's following up with your leads. It's doing, maybe it's working on open house preparation to get people to your open house that you've got this weekend, or maybe it's following up with agents that you're trying to build a partnership with, or agents that are looking at your deals. But I'm not going to pretend to live in your world with this. You just want to make sure that you're blocking out every single day of the week some lead generation time. So I'm going to show you, and let me, before I show you, some rules for the lead gen. When you're doing lead gen, your email needs to be shut down. Someone mentioned earlier, I don't remember who, but the word used was rabbit trails. When we need to do lead gen, but we have email open, that leads us down rabbit trails while we're supposed to be doing the most important thing. The rabbit trails take us everywhere else except lead generation. We can't afford to do that. So we need to make sure we're turning email off. None of us here in this session has the authority to hit a red nuclear button. The world is going to be okay if we turn email off for about an hour. Like, really, you can come back in about an hour and a half, and nothing is going to have exploded. So, but here's the problem: we let things interfere and distract us that can really wait until this afternoon. They're okay to wait till this afternoon. Like, we've had this conversation with my team before. I don't need to be distracted on a fire with a loan that the closing is 2 weeks away. That can literally, why would that not be able to wait for a few hours until this afternoon for me to deal with that if I need to get involved with it? When a fire needs to disrupt my day is there's a client supposed to close at 10:30, there's a moving truck with furniture on it, and we have a problem. That needs to take precedence. That can interrupt my day, and I need to deal with that right now. Makes sense? But something that closing is 2 weeks away, that can wait for me to address until this afternoon if I need to be involved with it. Half the time, my team can take care of it way better than I can. And a lot of times, you probably have encountered this if you think about it. A lot of times, if you don't get involved, somebody else will figure out the solution to it and you can just move on anyhow. Like, I've had that happen where an underwriter says there's a fire. I don't do anything with it. Then by 3 o'clock this afternoon, the underwriter has figured out how we can get around whatever the fire was that she told me about this morning. Never needed me to begin with, right? So don't let everything interrupt your day. So it's super important to take time to block your calendar. And I'm going to just share with you my computer screen real quick. So this is like next week for me. I get up at 5:15. I'm not, number one, I'm not telling anyone you need to get up early if you don't like early. My wife is not a morning person. We're on completely different schedules. So this does not work for her. This works for me. But I like to start each morning with God. I go rucking, obviously get a shower every day, believe it or not, and get prepared for the day. And then after that, 8:30 to 9:15, I do what's called focus buffer time. And what I do during that time is I go through emails that I might need to address. If I had voicemails from late last night, I'll address that. Kind of take care of whatever is on the horizon. I do a quick audit of my pipeline as well too. This if anything needs to be done with my pipeline today, or if I need to delegate that out to somebody. But it's just kind of getting the day under my belt. Allison and I meet, my team meets. I do Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I do videos. That's I've got it scheduled to make that happen. So like right after today, I'm doing a video. Then you'll see PH. That's not Patrick Henry. That's Power Hour. So on Mondays, I do status calls. That's my Power Hour. So here's a theme for all agents. Take one day a week where you're doing status calls to all of your clients and to anyone else involved with a loan. it goes a long way. And this should happen for the people that are selling homes. Like if you're selling a home and it sits on the market for 3 weeks and you haven't heard from your realtor, you start getting a little antsy. Like, what's happening? Are you doing anything to help me sell this house? Like, what's going on? Check in with your sellers once a week. Give them a little update. Hey, nobody came in last week. Next week, hey, nobody came in last week. Whatever the truth is, share it with your sellers. It just at least lets them know that you are paying attention to what's going on. And it's a great time to ask for a referral because right now, as they're selling the home, they're also cognizant of everybody else that's selling the home or maybe talking about selling the home. It's a great time to get referrals from people during the transaction. So do status calls. Um, on Tuesday, I work on calling some newer referral partners that I'm trying to deepen a relationship with. On Wednesday, I follow up with leads. Thursday is past client calls, and Friday I've got something called a circle of 72. It's like a list of 72 people on it I'm trying to maintain a relationship with, and I work on calling like 12 to 15 of those every single Friday. All right, but this is my structure. It's my theme day. Come up with what works for you. But as you see, every day I have structured, time blocked, designated time that I'm working on doing power hour work. Okay. Now, it's super important to do that in the morning and leave your afternoon for other things. So, Dixie is really good about when we are ready to do a loan consultation, she will schedule appointments with me to talk to clients, typically in the afternoon. Every once in a while, we'll have a client, they can only do it in the morning, and we'll accommodate that or I'll move something around. But for the most part, I try my best to stick to the schedule. Okay. So I can hear some objections to this already. Let me share one and see if this one is common. So realtors, I can only see Mitch and Kat. So I'm going to pick on you two. Shake your head in agreement or not. So you've got a home that needs a home inspection done on it. Home inspector calls. Mitch, I need to meet Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Will that work? Is that a normal? And now maybe you had lead gen scheduled for Tuesday at 10 o'clock, but now your home inspector needs to meet you at Tuesday at 10. So one thing I would just challenge you to try, because if you had a closing at 10 on Tuesday, you're probably telling the home inspector, I'm sorry, I can't do Tuesday at 10. I've got a closing that I want to go to. Is that fair enough? Okay. So sometimes we need to tell home inspectors or other people, I'm sorry, I have an appointment already scheduled Tuesday at 10, but I could do Tuesday at 11:30, or I could do Wednesday at 11:30, or maybe, what I've seen some realtors do too is they will move some of their power hours. I do think they're better to do in the morning, but some will move some on certain days, like maybe Wednesday you do power hour in the afternoon, so you leave one day a week where you've got mornings opened up to take care of home inspections and things like that. That's just an idea. One agent I know that does a lot of business, ton of business. She has one night a week that she is committed to work, and the other nights of the week she does not because she's committed to being at home with her kids, right? But she's very, very successful. But whatever that night a week is, if she has a client that needs a night appointment, that's when she offers that up. Okay. By the way, she doesn't work weekends, and her clients are okay with that. She just sets the boundaries. I'm not saying that's what you have to do or what you need to do, but she's put boundary stones in place that she doesn't let people intrude with the things that are really important. Because like our business is obviously super, super, super important. But if any of you have kids, you would never say your business is more important than spending time with your kids. Like we work so we can have a life, right? Or we can give back to the world. So just some things to think about when people try to take that time because it's inevitable in our business that they will. All right. So I'm going to share my screen one more time and show you kind of maybe a template you could use if you wanted something, some ideas of how you could also schedule your time. But here's an idea: do lead gen 8:30 to 10:30. Again, on Mondays, I'm doing status calls, so I do have a 2 hour time block for uh, power hour on Mondays. But other power hour days, I think an hour to hour and a half is sufficient. So, but 8:30 to 10:30, have 10:30 to 12:30 for appointments, lunch, reset, work on admin things in the afternoon, contracts in the afternoon, do any marketing or follow up on marketing in the afternoon, and then maybe some time near the end of the day for showings and some flex time. It's just an idea. The thing is, a lot of us get into things like real estate or mortgage lending because we want to have flexibility with our schedule. And that's one of the biggest reasons people fail, I believe, as real estate agent or a mortgage lender, is they allow too much flexibility with their schedule. If you if you had a job working at McDonald's and your time to show up every day was 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and you started one day at 8:30, and the next day you started about 8:15, do you think your job at McDonald's would last very long? Probably not. But we treat our business like this because we have too much flexibility. That's just that's the problem. We need a start time and we need to be consistent with it, and we need an end time and need to be consistent with it. Like, I've got 5 kids. My oldest kid, CJ, we're very, very close now, but I really did not know the kid until get to know him at all until he was 13, because I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked, and he thought loans were more important than being his dad. We can't allow that stuff to happen. Like, there's got to be an end time and a shutdown time, and maybe we put our phone in focus mode so that we can really focus and concentrate on the other people around us when we shut things off. But it's okay with setting some boundaries. Okay. So Shannon said, not bold enough yet to tell a client I don't work on weekends, but I do tell clients up front the window within they can expect communication. I think that's super important. I don't, I don't, I'm not saying don't work weekends. I know that's a lot of times people can go see homes, whatnot. Um, I mean, just a suggestion that we can put some boundaries, whether it's evenings or weekends, or maybe choose one of the 2 days of the weekend and just say, hey, I'm not working on Saturday or I'm not working on Sunday. Like, Chick-fil-A did a pretty bold move, but it's worked out pretty well for them. But it still pisses me off on Sunday when I go after church to get chicken and they're closed. Um, but they're still pretty successful, whether regardless of what my opinion is about them. They sell a lot of chicken, right? Like, we can do the same thing, I believe. It's okay. People don't need to know what's on your schedule. All they need to know is you have an appointment. Your appointment could be with your wife. Your appointment could be with your 13-year-old son. Your appointment can be with whoever. You just have an appointment, but you're setting some boundaries. All right. So the key to all of this, like, you saw my schedule. It's color coded. It's beautiful. It doesn't mean anything if I'm not obedient to it. It means nothing. But I can go back and look at my lead tracker. I can go back, look at my income, and I can identify every single time that I was not obedient to my calendar because I would let things interrupt me or distract me from doing prospecting that took up that time, and I would let something else get in the way. This is also the reason, if you've ever experienced this, we're going to wrap this up real, real quick. But if you've ever experienced being in sales, having a great month, then kind of a down month, great month, then a down month, because we take care of all the stuff to get busy, Then we get busy and we let things interrupt with prospecting again. Like, we don't really have a whole lot of down months or low months in our business because prospecting is always happening. Unless I'm on vacation, prospecting is happening all the time. So it allows us to keep a very stable, steady business going because it does not get sacrificed. Other things may, but that can't. Okay. So if you've not used, just one little tip for you, and I've already shared this with a couple of you in several conversations, but I used Chat GPT last week to help me write and create my schedule. I went into Chat GPT and said, this is what I need to have on my calendar every single week. Help me identify putting all of this together and making it happen. So it started spinning things back at me. It helped me create what you looked at the very end. It gave me one little extra bonus tip. Would you like for me to create for you a chaotic week at a glance? So I asked it, what do you mean by a chaotic week? It came back and said, you're a lender. Fires happen, distractions happen. Would you like a chaotic week at a glance? I said, sure, create that. And it started eliminating things on my calendar that could go away, such as doing the video. Um, such, it started giving me some space in my calendar for the weeks that are a little hairy and taking things off. The things that could not be eliminated, it told me this, things that you cannot eliminate from your calendar: your time with God, your exercise time, your time with family. Those are bedrocks in your calendar that don't go away. And the other thing in your business that cannot go away is your power hour. Other things can be eliminated. That's basically what it gave me. So I just think that's a great tool if you want to use it to get some ideas on how to create a perfect week as a real estate agent. Biggest thing I can tell you is put boundaries on your time with everything and only let things come into your calendar that align with who you are and align with your goals and where you're wanting to go. If it doesn't come into alignment with those two things, we need to get better at saying no. That's all I can tell you. Like, I think we're all yes people. We need to get better at saying the words no. I don't have time. Okay. All right. It's 10:34. I went over on time management. I'm so sorry, but thank you for hanging out with me. If you have any questions, want any other tips, I can hang out on here for just about 6 minutes. And then at 10:40, I got to get this video done. All right.